Another beautiful Friday evening. A warm welcome to TBC News. Our top stories tonight. Tanzanian democracy and good governance applauded. Appeal for restart of 24-hour bus operations. Good evening, I am Nasa Kingu. Just a reminder, you can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages at TBC Online. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Slovenia, Tanzania Tourism, commends work done by the government and the positive strides that have been made in improving the environment for good democracy and good governance and economic development despite the presence of various challenges in the world. Faitha Gaga has more details.
The visit aims to strengthen and promote diplomatic, economic and political relations between Tanzania and Slovenia and explore new areas of cooperation. The Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Slovenia, Tanzania Tourism, has met and held talks with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Dr. Stargoman Attacks, in Dodoma, where the talks focused on strengthening diplomatic cooperation and align new areas of cooperation between Tanzania and Slovenia. The talks also have paved the way of signing of memorandums of understanding in new areas of cooperation specified.
Faraja kwamba tumepata mgeni ambaye ni makamu waziri mkuu.
We are delighted to receive the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Slovenia. This is a result of the efforts by President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan to strengthen relations with other countries. We have discussed various issues with regards to strengthening our relations, for instance, in the pharmaceutical industry, in the water sector.
Minister Fajan has commended work done by the government and the strides made in improving the environment for democracy and governance. Minister Fajan, while in the country for her 3 days working visit, is expected to meet and hold talks with other top government leaders.
The Vice President of the World Bank in charge of the East and Southern African region, Victoria Kwakwa, has reassured bank's support to Tanzania in achieving its economic goals and has praised various measures taken by the government in managing its economy. Faitha Gaga has more details.
The Vice President of the World Bank in charge of the Eastern and Southern Africa development, Victoria Kwakwa, has given commendations in Washington, D.C. when she met and held talks with the Tanzanian delegation led by the Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba, during the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund meeting. She says that Tanzania's economy has been stable and has grown rapidly compared to other countries she oversees in the Eastern and Southern African regions.
And you have to continue to consolidate and to maintain what you have and continue to improve it, particularly watching the inflation aspect. I think overall you're in good standing, and we just urge you to continue to be vigilant, to be prudent on fiscal policy. So that's what I would urge you. So what I will give you our commitment to continue to help you get as much resources as you can from the different IDA windows.
Kwakwa vows that her bank will continue to provide funds to Tanzania through various platforms to support various projects that stimulate rapid economic growth, including the energy, agriculture, water, and infrastructure construction. On his part, the Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba, has thanked the World Bank for the recognition.
Alizozielekeza kwa Mheshimiwa Rais kuhusu hali ya kuridhisha ya uchumi wa Tanzania.
The Vice President of the World Bank for Eastern and Southern Africa has commended the satisfactory state of Tanzania's economy despite the difficult conditions such that many other countries are facing economic hardships. The Vice President acknowledges the efforts done by the President Samia in continuing to foster the economy and ensuring that the society lives sustainably and receives their basic services.
On her part, the Minister of State, President's Office, Finance and Planning in Zanzibar, Dr. Saada Salum Mkuya, says that the World Bank is a major stakeholder of the revolutionary government of Zanzibar, supporting various economic projects, including the Blue Economy Policy.
Tumekuwa na mkutano na makamu wa rais wa Benki ya Dunia.
We had a meeting with the Vice President of World Bank for Eastern and Southern Africa, and she has congratulated the government of Zanzibar for the execution of the Blue Economy Policy. Also, the Blue Economy Policy ensures sustainable tourism. Therefore, the World Bank has commended our efforts because we have been collaborating with them in various areas.
Part of the business community and passengers urge bus owners in the country to speed up the process of applying for a permit for upcountry buses to operate for 24 hours. They insist the move will reduce unnecessary costs they incur when traveling. Here's a report prepared by Henry Mabumo, read by Lulua Mohammed.
Announcements directing bus passengers traveling to other regions and neighboring countries at Magufuli bus terminal. Some buses have to stop along the way 1 to 2 days due to the 24-hour travel ban. Finally, the debate on whether to uplift the ban is in the parliament and forces the Minister of Internal Affairs, Engineer Hamadi Yusuf Masauni, to clarify.
Nitoe tamko kwamba wale ambao wanaona kuna haja ya kuanza safari za mapema basi walete maombi na tamko ni kwamba tutaridhia maombi hayo.
Let me make a statement that those who need to start their routes early should bring their applications, and the statement is that we will grant the permit to those who are in need to start those routes while we continue with other efforts to find a solution to this issue.
Abdallah Kiongozi is the chairman of the Association of Bus Owners, TABOA. The decision aims to stimulate economic activities and reduce unnecessary costs to the passengers transport various commodities.
Watu wa mabasi, wafanyabiashara wa mabasi wako tayari wakati wote kuanza jambo hili.
The bus owners are ready all the time to start this matter because they had already started but were prevented.
TBC has witnessed many various traders uploading goods to the buses, while others are complaining about the increase in the business running costs due to the rule.
Those who come from Tunduma and Mbeya have to sleep for 2 days, and when they arrive, they have to raise their price because the costs they spend are high. So 24 hours travel is better.
Some bus drivers propose to the government to establish rules and regulations to allow the buses to travel safely at night.
If you drive at night, the car cools down. However, we should pay more attention to the road instructions.
For a while, businessmen, together with the Association of Bus Owners in the country, have been urging the government to uplift the ban on buses to travel at night to enable citizens to get transport services all the time.
The Tanzania Tourist Board Managing Director, Damas Mfugale, says the Tanzania Tourist Board, TTB, plans to ensure that people with disabilities do benefit fully from the tourist activities in the country. He made the assurance while he was handing over wheelchairs, white cans and hats to people with disabilities and food products to support the upcoming Quran competitions. Apasia Ringo was there, and here she is with more details.
Mr. Damas Mfugale says that the trend of tourism in the country is increasing from 1.5 million in 2019 and has reached approximately 1.8 million international tourists from January 2022 to February this year. Also, he says that the Tanzania Tourist Board plans to promote domestic tourism where Tanzanians will be aware of the beauty and attractions found in their country.
Our focus, besides the international tourism, to promote for the international, which obviously we always do, promoting for the international tourists coming to the country, but we also going into the promoting domestic tourism. Between 2022 January to 2023, end of February, we've reached approximately 1.8 million tourists.
He added that the disabled are provided with a conducive environment and special treatment around the tourist attractions, which will help their tourism activities more flexible.
The environment is conducive. You know, most of the time when you go to the parks, besides going and visiting the attractions, but obviously, where do you stay? You stay in the hotels. And those hotels, all the hotels, according to the standards which we have, and obviously the Tanzania grading and classification criteria requires all those facilities to be able to provide the disabled or challenged people facilities so that they can access on those facilities. There is that provisions, but I wouldn't confirm exactly in terms of going to the specific parks when they want to go and visit the parks. How have we done so far? But I understand in the hotels or in the restaurants, all those facilities are being provided because it's a requirement. It's a requirement by law to make sure we do that.
He adds that with the initiation of the royal tour done by the President, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, Tanzania has aimed to reach a goal of receiving 5 million tourists per year by the year 2025.
President Samia, through the royal tour initiative, she has actually put a lot of effort there, and we have seen an increase in numbers. But the aim or the projections, come 2025, Tanzania should be able to have 5 million tourists. So right now we are ranging between last year, early January last year to end of February, we were actually on 1.8. February this year on 1.8 tourists. So there is an increase of number of tourists coming to Tanzania. And toward the 2025, we'll definitely be reaching 5 million tourists a year.
Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Apasia Ringo, TBC News.
The Dar es Salaam Regional Commissioner Amos Makala has directed the plastic bags manufacturers and those causing noise pollution in the city to ensure that they follow rules and regulations and reduce inconveniences to the community and preserve the environment. He made the remarks in Dar es Salaam during a special meeting with Dar es Salaam business stakeholders. Here is a report by Ibrahim Chawe, read by Lulua Muhammad.
Plastic bags and noise pollution are reported to cause various inconveniences to some of the Dar es Salaam residents. The government, through a special meeting, aims to control this challenge and warns all concerned parties to follow the rules and regulations.
If you have such sound meters, they will show you the sounds of your program. For example, if you go to your neighbor and listen, you will see how much the sound is on. So you will be able to know exactly how much you can affect others. If you don't have one, you can borrow it from your neighbor. There are plastics that are very thin, where if you put anything, there is a high possibility of plastic particles entering the food. Those plastics are rejected. Some plastic are allowed which are pre-packaged and there must be a label.
Dar es Salaam Regional Commissioner had a word to the government officials.
Tufanye kazi bega kwa bega, serious.
If you decide to do something, you have to be serious. Don't go back. Our district commissioner, defense and security committees, TBS and NMT. Let's work side by side. It's possible to make Dar es Salaam city without noise and plastic bags. On 1st May, let's work together because I've given only 2 weeks.
The former president of Mozambique, Joachim Chisano, has praised the government for continuing to maintain the African Liberation Heritage Center that preserves various records of the liberation of Africa. The former President Chisano made the remarks in Dar es Salaam while paying a visit to the Liberation Center. Emmanuel Samuel was there, and here he is with more details.
The former president of Mozambique, Joachim Chisano, says the presence of this center here in Tanzania has been inspired by the glorious leadership of Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere.
From what I saw, it seems to me that you have yet to work with the other liberation movements, ANC, and ZAPO and ZANU, so that they produce more for you to display. Maybe you will not have enough space here. Maybe you have to create another museum. I'm very happy that something is being done. In the case of Mozambique, there are many documents which failed in the ocean when we left here to go to Mozambique.
In addition, the retired president has expressed his satisfaction with the manner in which young people are preserving Tanzania culture despite the changes in science and technology that continue to occur in the world.
Watanzania wenyewe wanajijua sasa wenyewe. Walikuwa hawajijui.
Tanzanians now knows themselves and realize where they are going, and young people want to know where they came from.
On his part, the Minister of Culture, Arts and Sports, Ambassador Dr. Pinda Chana, explained that the government will continue cooperating with the Mozambican embassy to ensure that the center continues to be preserved.
Jukumu kubwa tulilonalo hapa kama ulivyoona kwanza ni kutambua historia.
In Tanzania, we have a great responsibility to ensure that we protect and preserve the memories of the liberation of Africa.
On top of that, the minister has congratulated the president for actively participating in the movement to seek the liberation of the African continent.
Kazi kubwa kabisa mheshimiwa ambayo umeifanya.
We recognize your contribution to the African liberation movement and we congratulate you very much. You are a hero.
Wewe ni shujaa.
Furthermore, the former president Chisano got a chance to show his skills in bow game that was loved by Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere during his lifetime. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Emmanuel Samuel, TBC News.
Interesting story there. And that item concludes News Bulletin for our local news tonight. International news is up next. And here is international news compiled by Ramadan Mpenda and read by Lulua Muhammad.
A convicted rapist and murderer who escaped jail last year in South Africa has appeared in Bloemfontein Magistrate Court for the first time since his rearrest in Arusha, Tanzania, earlier this month. Thabo Bester, the so-called Facebook rapist who used the social media site to lure victims, has alleged at Friday's hearing that his ID number is incorrectly listed on documents and that it is not safe for him to eat prison food in case somebody poisons him. Instead, he wants his lawyers to provide his meals and he has refused to eat for the past 48 hours. His lawyers said Bester would not apply for bail but argued he maintains the right to do so at a later date. Bester's case has now been postponed until next month. Healthcare workers in Mozambique have launched awareness campaigns to help stop the spread of cholera. According to Mozambique Ministry of Health, the cholera awareness campaigns will be conducted door to door in order to reach many people with effective results. The cholera outbreak at Maomba in Mozambique is the worst outbreak in 20 years that affected at least 1 million people. Burkina Faso's military government has set a target of recapturing 40% of territory lost to militant groups, announcing a general mobilization to give them all necessary means to do so. A statement released by Defense Minister Colonel Kassim Koulibaly said the measures will give a legal framework to all the actions to be implemented to deal with the situation that Burkina Faso is experiencing. The so-called general mobilization also guarantees the government freedom of action to deal with terrorist threats. Burkina Faso's parliament passed a law in 2020 to recruit volunteers for the defense of the fatherland, an auxiliary civilian army to support the fight against terrorists. end a devastating 8-year conflict between Saudi Arabia and Houthi militants in Yemen. The International Committee of the Red Cross said detainees were being flown from the Red to government-held Aden. About 900 prisoners are expected to be exchanged over the next 3 days. The war between rebels and pro-government Saudi-led forces has left tens of thousands of Yemenis dead. The exchange, the largest since late 2020, is seen as a confidence-building measure following talks earlier this week in Sana'a between a Saudi delegation facilitated by Oman, which shares a border with both Saudi Arabia and Yemen and has played a key role. Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) over the leaks online of classified documents that embarrassed Washington with allies around the world. The arrest comes a week after the leaks. First big episode embarrassed the U.S. by revealing its spying on allies on mobile phone communication of the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. The leak of documents posted largely on social media sites was believed to be the most serious security breach since more than 700,000 website in 2020.
That was international news. All the latest in sports news is up next.
Tanzania junior golf national team will jet off to Uganda on Saturday to participate in All Africa Junior Golf Competition, which will take place from 17th to 21st in the highly competitive games in the Bring Home Trophy of the African Challenges.
That we're going to win. We ask God, call upon Tanzania to pray for us.
Tanzania lazima tushinde.
29 junior golf national showdown in Uganda. Athletics national team coach Alfredo Shahanga reveals that they are well equipped to collect medals in African Athletics Championship to be held in Zambia from 29th of April up to 3rd of May. Coach Shahanga says they have done a lot of training which have raised their standards and hoping that they will use it to take medals from the African competition.
Mazoezi ambayo vijana wamefanya ni mazoezi mazuri sana.
The training that the boys have been doing very well. That's why tomorrow we want to test them so that we can correct mistakes ahead of the competitions that will be ahead in the next 2 weeks.
Au inahitajika kuongeza jambo fulani.
Tanzania will be represented by 15 athletes in African Athletics Championship, which will take place in Zambia. Malio Cheto, TBC News.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Thank you very much for watching, and on behalf of the whole TBC News team, I am Nasa Kingu. Don't forget to join us again on Monday. Same time, same place, right here on TBC One.
Habari za wakati huu mtazamaji wa TBC One.